Hello, beautiful soul family. How are you? Welcome back to my channel. This is new, I know. I actually just filmed my last video Q&A for the Union Mastery class that I held over the last couple months. And it really encouraged me to come on and do a twin flame reading this way. I've got my cards here and I'm ready to dive in. Typically what I do is I will pull cards previous to the reading and channel the messages, but for whatever reason today they want to go live, so that's what we're going to do. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be diving into the divine masculine energy, the divine feminine energy, where they are at this time, and any guidance and messages for the divine feminine, divine masculine. Now, as I speak of the divine feminine, divine masculine, these energies do exist within us. You could be seeing this playing out within your own experience, or it could be reflected back to you from a divine counterpart. All right, so I was actually tapping into the divine masculine before I decided to come on and film. And so right now where the divine masculine energy is this Fool energy of getting ready to take that leap of faith. And I do believe that came out in my last reading that I did 2 weeks ago, of really kind of like being quiet, because the chance that they were getting ready to take was pretty significant. And they didn't want to... They're being super quiet because they didn't want there to be any interference with the decision and choice they were going to be making, because it's that big to them. And they really didn't want it to be influenced or affected. So it seems as if there's been, what I'm hearing here with these cards is that there has been like the coming out of a tower moment, or realizing that in the past, with their connection with the divine feminine, there's kind of been these illusions of all these opportunities for them, and that these options were not the option that was in the full alignment with what it was that their heart desired. And this actually came out in the video that I was filming for the Q&A of when we move through speaking our truth, sometimes it can come out a little altered or distorted versions of the truth, because there's an underlying belief that we are not worthy of the ultimate truth, what it is that our heart is actually calling out for. And in reality, that desire, that heart-centered desire, is what is meant for you. And so there's this process of kind of working through and understanding that we are worthy of that, that heart desire is meant for us. And that seems to be the energy the divine masculine is in, is coming into this realization that nothing is going to be as fulfilling as the divine connection with the union of the divine feminine and divine masculine. And that there, in the past, all of these options here have just not quite landed for them. And yeah, there seems to be a desire for this balance, give and take with the divine feminine, so they can create a stable foundation. I've been getting that with the masculine a lot, of kind of just like they're done with the words and really wanting to create something in the physical plane, something that is stable, that isn't kind of just this back and forth communication, like actually wanting to manifest this in a physical way. All right, let's see. What obstacle is the divine masculine overcoming at this time? What obstacle is the divine masculine overcoming at this time? The King of Wands. And what I'm hearing is that the ability to take the action on this desire, and realizing that they're going to have to come out of any illusions or any secrets that they've been holding. They know that that's the ultimate, is that in order to take this like full forward movement, this King of Wands energy, that there needs to be, and it's kind of like their judgment day is coming out of any secrets or illusion that they've kind of been existing in. And so they're really overcoming that at this time of, in order for me to step into this King of Wands energy and really go after what it is that I want, what I desire, what I know is meant for me, is that, okay, this is what I'm hearing too, is that I need to come out of that distorted truth. So the distorted truths that the divine masculine has spoken in the past, that the reasons for the distortions is because that real true underlying belief that they were not worthy of it, which seems to be a consistent kind of story here. Yeah. it seems like there's been a lot of healing around this, and realizing where what I'm getting is that there's, again, a lot of inner child healing, and going back to the beginning of when they started to shove their dreams down, or when they started to shut off that that connection to their divine feminine. So there's been a lot of healing around that, and going back and reflecting on, when did this start? When did I start saying no, and start feeling as if I wasn't worthy of all of my biggest dreams. Okay, and then I'm going to pull a couple cards of what they desire with the divine feminine right now. I am hearing travel, but there is this desire for kind of this quick movement to happen, and coming into this 10 of Cups energy, which, again, I feel like the divine masculine energy is really desiring to feel kind of this like unified energy. And again, we've been talking about this for weeks, where there was kind of this like deep connection that happened with the divine feminine, divine masculine, where they kind of came back to that 0 point. This is something I also spoke about in my Q&A video, is this twin journey kind of being on this infinity loop. And so there's this 0 point where the two come into this balance, and then they expand out and kind of are on opposite ends. And the way that I've always seen it, the journey itself, is that in the start of the journey, when there's like that that awakening to the twin flame journey, and that 0 point that happens, that they expand out. So it's like the infinity symbol was so much bigger at the start of this journey. So when we were going around this loop, it's like when we were on opposite ends, we were like on opposite ends, and there was this feeling as if it was like completely impossible to come back into that 0 point. But what always ends up happening is that we do, so like the impossible becomes possible, because we loop back around and then come back into that 0 point. And the way that I've always seen this journey is that throughout the cycling around these, like as we're balancing our divine feminine, divine masculine, that this infinity symbol just comes a little bit closer and a little bit closer together. And so coming back into that 0 point happens a lot faster. It happens a lot more simpler. And it's almost as if the two counterparts really understand kind of what's happening on that loop, and realizing and also honoring that that loop, because there's like more knowledge and a deeper understanding and more learning that happens. And so this is also something that I've seen, is that kind of like as that infinity loop gets even closer and closer and closer together, that 0 point, which the way that I've always channeled it is like that 0 point there, if it was only that 0 point and that was it, the way that they've kind of given it to me is kind of like life as we know it would just kind of poof and be gone, because that is the unity energy. That is kind of like heaven on earth. And so if heaven on earth was here permanently and there was no more cycling around, things would be very different. And I am going to pull a card on, is there anything that the divine masculine would like to say to the divine feminine right now? And we'll dive into a little bit of the divine feminine. Am I good enough for you? I told you. This is kind of like coming into the realization. So again, they're bringing me back to that inner child healing of going back to the start of when did they start to believe that they weren't good enough? When did they start to believe that their dreams, their hopes and dreams weren't available to them, or that were not based in reality? They weren't realistic. And they're kind of giving me this image of how the divine masculine energy is really reflected on this throughout the journey, of the reason why there's been a resistance to ground this connection is because there's been an inability to understand how that could be reality, that energy doesn't exist, that it isn't available to them. That sure, maybe this energy can exist, but I'm certainly not worthy of it. That's not true, but that's what kind of that divine masculine in healing is experiencing or moving through. I'm going to pull one more card here for anything that they would like to just say to the divine feminine at this time. My family and upbringing are a bigger factor than I realized. Again, there are so many unsaid things between us, and I think that that's really related to just not feeling as if they're worthy of, if they were to speak that authentic truth, they really have to come to a place where they feel and know that they are worthy. And when I say they, I just mean like that divine masculine energy, that the divine masculine energy is worthy of the big picture, the full picture, the grandest dreams, like everything that the heart desires, everything that they know within their soul is meant for them. I've thought about reaching out to you, and I stopped myself, and would you give me the chance to make things right between us? Again, I think they're coming into the divine masculine energy is really coming into this understanding of why that they maybe have kind of danced around the truth, and they are practicing with speaking their truth, and reflecting on when they almost had it and what stopped them. And again, it's this reflection of worthiness that's kind of coming in here for the divine masculine. And would you give me the chance to make things right between us? And so I am feeling that this is coming in. It's almost the way that they're giving it to me is there's kind of been this like trial and error of speaking truth. And I know from personal experience when I was healing through my divine feminine, that there was a lot of practice around speaking my truth. And so I really did have to it was just like a trial and error in the start, I was trying to express my truth from my heart center, but it was still, distorted, and it still was influenced and infiltrated with what I believed others needed to hear in order for me to get what it is that I wanted. And so it wasn't until I realized that what I desired was available to me, and that it didn't need to be an altered version and didn't need to be like a compromised version of that. It wasn't until I really realized that and also felt that and believed that I spoke my authentic truth. And I do feel that that's exactly what's happening for the divine masculine at this time, is that they're coming into this ability to speak their authentic truth because they are really owning and believing that what it is that they desire is available to them. All right. Let's see any advice that we have for the divine masculine at this point. Yeah, overthinking seems as if the divine masculine energy is really overthinking things at this time. They're really wanting the divine masculine to go more with the flow. So I think that they're saying here, if you like overthinking and just kind of staying too much in the mind is really going to hinder your ability to speak your authentic truth. And that if you really stay in the flow, the truth is naturally going to come out. What they're giving me is there's actually some overthinking of like when they're going to deliver this truth and how they're going to deliver this truth. And Spirit is saying just allow that flow to come in. So when you're feeling it on your heart and you know that it's time, that it will just come right out, and that you don't need to overthink it. And even in that moment, not to overthink it. So they're saying that there is going to be an opportunity, the way that I'm hearing it right now, there's going to be an opportunity to speak your truth, and you're going to know exactly that is the moment. And they don't want you to overthink it. They don't want you to try to have to plan out like this perfect opportunity, because the opportunity is going to come available to you if you just leave that door open. Or the possibility for that door to be open for you. And again, not trying to overthink it, overplan it, or get too much in your head, because they're also telling me that the overthinking is going to bring up that fear that you can't, because you're going to kind of like sink into a spiral of overthinking, and that blessings are coming your way. So this specifically, they want me to read it. Open your heart up to start receiving the blessings that you deserve, because you do deserve it and you are worthy of it. Okay, let's really quickly tap into where the divine feminine is at this point. Actually really enjoy doing readings this way. All right, where is the divine feminine? Empress. Divine feminine is sitting pretty and in balance. The divine feminine is actually feeling really good. They're feeling really balanced, and they're allowing themselves to receive what is in I'm just trying, hold on. They almost gave me the word, but it slipped right out of my mouth. So divine feminine is sitting in this Empress energy, in this balance. They're feeling very balanced at this time, and they feel like they are attracting all that is meant for them. Ooh, interesting. I got the 7 of Swords here. I'm just going to clarify what that is. Okay, so there seems to be, with the divine feminine, this energy of reflecting on the times that they've overgiven and how that kind of escaped them or eluded them. So the times that they've really kind of overly expressed or was not sitting in this tempered Empress energy, when they were kind of operating more of out of a distorted version of feminine, where they were overgiving, that they felt like they were manipulated, they were taken advantage of. And so there's been a lot of reflection there. And so the divine feminine is really sitting in this energy where they are in balance. They are sitting in this Empress energy, and it's all due to reflecting on the times in the past where they have overgiven and they've overextended themselves. And I'm getting that here kind of like with the Ace of Wands, of kind of like taking that inspired action and just feeling disappointed. So there seems to be a little bit of just kind of, what they're giving me is that this is wonderful. There's been a reflection that has allowed the divine feminine to step into this Empress and Temperance energy here. But they're also telling me that if you're purposely not taking action on things because of disappointment of the past, that isn't quite a balanced energy, that there's been healing that has happened for the divine feminine that is going to allow you to take inspired action on things that are in alignment with your heart, and is not going to end in, or what is perceived as this. So also what they're telling me is that if the outcome doesn't look like what you expected, to be open to it manifesting in a way that maybe you couldn't have possibly thought of. So that this energy, so you can see here again, the 2 cups are behind them. They're just not seeing that. They're so focused on what they've lost. And so they're also reminding me here, when we speak our truth and when we step into when we take action on what's on our heart and what our heart desires, and again, we fully own that oftentimes everything that is not in alignment is going to fall away. And so they're just asking to realize that when something is lost here, that's actually a great indicator that what it is that you've been desiring is manifesting, because you are now coming into everything that is not in alignment with what you've been manifesting is going to fall away. It feels like that might be coming in for the divine feminine. Just a reminder there, because the way that they're giving it to me is that this energy here of the Temperance and the Empress is that there's been a lot of opportunities that have been coming towards the divine feminine energy. And so it seems like there might be some resistance for some of the divine feminines that are watching this, divine feminine energies that are watching this. There may be resistance to take an offer because it may look similar to something you've done before that really left you very hurt and felt like you had been that it had been imbalanced and it really hurt you. And so what the divine is saying, that you're actually in a beautiful balance right now, that you are in the Empress energy, and everything that you're attracting is in alignment with your authentic sense of self, your soul mission, your soul purpose. And that taking action on something that does feel like it's in alignment and that you've called in because you're sitting in this energy, to not become fearful that this is going to happen again. And if things are falling away, it isn't because you've done something wrong or you've, overgiven. It's just that things that are not in alignment are falling out, so you can come into alignment. All right, I'm gonna pull just a guidance card for the divine feminine. Guidance from Spirit. Communication, awaken. So they're really asking you, especially when this opportunity comes in, to communicate maybe some of these fears. So if there's an opportunity that arises for the divine feminine, and this is something that's on your heart and something that you're fearing, they're asking you to communicate that very clearly, because you are in an awakened, balanced state. Okay. And then I am just going to pull a card also for the union energy. So what's coming in for the divine masculine, divine feminine. That's beautiful. I got creation and freedom and hope. Wow. An opportunity. So it feels like there is a beautiful balance that's happening and is coming in for the divine feminine, divine masculine, kind of back to that 0 point. Oh, and they want me to pull from this deck as well. Guidance card for divine feminine and divine masculine. Please, Spirit. physical and emotional healing coming into balance. Again, the way that they're giving that to me is that the counterparts have come in and are maintaining the inner balance of that divine masculine, divine feminine, which will then just be reflected out into the physical plane. Sorry, a card just, I don't know if you saw that, but like flew right out of the camera. Forge, don't fall. That's so funny. Pave a new path, be the leader that you wish that you had. And I think it's funny that that card kind of like took its own path into that direction. Yeah. And I do think that this is kind of where the divine masculine, divine feminine are coming in this opportunity to kind of bring together something that maybe hasn't been seen on this earthly plane before. And it is going to just bring up some fears of, is this possible? Am I worthy of this? Is it realistic, is what they're giving me again? And that they're just reminding you that this is a new path. And so forge and don't follow, be the leader that you wish that you had. And that there really isn't going to be an example to go off of. But there, again, there's been so much healing and balance that's taking place within both counterparts that the two of you can do this. Wow, that's really beautiful. Yeah. A decision has been made, and it is the world. It is everything that you've desired, rather than kind of taking this other option that maybe wasn't the full manifestation of what it is that you know is meant for you. There has been a decision to really go after all of it, and knowing that it's there, it's coming in, and that's the only thing that you can see right now. I keep saying I'm going to pull one more card, but they're like, keep going. We're going to do just an animal spirit, because that's my favorite. Lion, which is courage, strength, that is within you. So again, if there's kind of this opportunity or this new path to take that is kind of stirring up a little bit of that fear, that you have this strength of this courage within you. And to tap into this energy, if you're maybe call on if that fear is coming up for you, call out for this lion energy. I'm also hearing that some of you are either going to see images or videos of lions at the moment where you most need it. So that moment of doubt, and that is just a reminder to not doubt yourself. That is meant for you. Oh, these animal cards are just lighting me up. So what's funny is that when I was starting to shuffle, I saw the hawk energy, and they were telling me that there's been a lot of us who have just been kind of like hawking over what it is that we desire to take within our own hands and that we want, because again, we just like really weren't sure how to like land on it. And they're kind of reminding me a little bit of like where the divine masculine are at, why they're overthinking, is because they're like how, kind of just like circling around what it is that they want and kind of like planning out. But again, Spirit's saying not to overthink it, that it is meant for you. And so there isn't really going to be a need to kind of hawk over it. Like it isn't meant for anyone else other than you. And that, no one's going to get their hands on it. And so I got this energy here of the eagle, which is like landing. And I'm just getting these two images together of kind of choosing to take the world and then landing down on it. And obviously in this card, there's no competition here. Like that is meant for that eagle. And that's exactly what's coming out here. So beautiful reading. Thank you for joining me in this new setting. I really enjoy doing readings this way, and I think maybe that will continue. I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday, and I will see you next week. Bye.